That's why Long Ring, Long Land is the best arc in all of One Piece. No cap.
Despite that, it is still considered to be in the C tier.
Screw you, Obama.
Quit complaining. It's better than it deserves, and you know it. You're illiterate.
Your mom's illiterate.
Gentlemen, please, we're all Naima here.
Foxy for Straw Hat.
Now, I know this is still fresh for all of us, but we have to decide where to rank the Wano arc.
This won't take long. The Wano arc is undoubtedly Oda's best work, deserving of an S-tier ranking.
Jesus Christ, I can't believe this crap.
How could you possibly disagree?
I agree that it is exceptional. The middle section of the arc is highly overrated, considering it took 4 years to defeat a fish, which is longer than my entire presidency.
It was only half the length of mine.
Yeah, Donald, this seems like a you issue.
In fact, Kaido was not just an ordinary fish, he resembled a dragon-like creature.
You don't even know what he is. Maybe if Oda didn't rush his flashback, we wouldn't have this problem.
I concur that Oda could have allocated more time to developing Kaido, but by then, the Wano arc had already been prolonged.
I think he got plenty of time.
Did you even read the arc, Sleepy Joe? Falling asleep next to a volume of manga doesn't count as reading.
Like you can read. You were anime only up until last year.
That's because I appreciate voice acting and seeing things in color, unlike you. I didn't grow up watching things in black and white.
Donald, the problem is the pacing. I agree that the voice actors add a lot to the anime, but every episode is so dragged out.
Wano arc is the worst of all time and belongs to the C tier, as it offers no difference in the manga version.
How can it be both the worst and a C tier?
Ranking Wano arc in C tier is too low, due to the arc's positive aspects such as superb Act 1, incredible Odin flashback, and increased focus on Zoro.
Oda only revealed Zoro's parents in an SBS, and the Grim Reaper plotline went nowhere, making it the worst arc ever. Hence, an obvious D tier.
I agree. After building up so much focus on Zoro, Oda really dropped the ball there, but overall, Wano is still a phenomenal arc, and you know it.
Phenomenal crap.
Donald, what about Gear 5th? Surely you can't deny how amazing that was?
Yeah, Gear 5th was great, but there's a kernel of sweet corn in every big, beautiful dump.
Weird analogy, but okay.
I found Gear 5th to be too silly. Louis' serious fights were much more enjoyable.
Are you serious? Gear 5th was the only redeeming part of this entire arc, and you didn't like it.
I had expected the arc's climax to be more intense, since it involves Luffy's ultimate victory over an Emperor of the Sea.
Yonko.
What?
It's Yonko.
What the hell is a Yonko?
It means 4 emperors. Ibaka, learn Japanese.
In the official translation, it's 4 emperors.
In the official translation, it's Zolo Joe effing Zolo. For Christ's sake, how can you read that garbage?
Because it's the most accurate translation to convey the actual story.
Yeah, well, in the story, it's supposed to be Zoro and not Zolo.
Knock him up, please. We're supposed to be talking about Wano.
Worst arc of all time, obvious E tier.
Rocky's putting it even lower. Now he's obviously trolling.
Joe, someone disagreeing with your trash talks doesn't make them a troll. It makes them a perfectly well-balanced human being. I mean, for crap's sake, if people knew about your trash talks in 2020, then I wouldn't have lost the election.
Donald, can you elaborate on your opinion about Wano? I may not have been a big fan of it myself. I think it's important for you to explain specifically what you disliked about it.
It was too short.
What do you mean, too short? You just said it was too long.
It was too long until it was too short.
Donald, your point is as confusing as that filler arc where Louis fought a dugong.
That was a perfect dugong.
Joe, I agree with Donald's opinion that the ending of Wano felt rushed. The pacing felt off, especially after Gear 5th, and it seemed like Oda was more concerned with wrapping up the story quickly rather than providing a satisfying conclusion.
I think it was paced just fine.
You would, you dick rider. You probably have an annual pass to Oda's house just to ride his dick every day.
You and I both know he's too busy to be giving dick rides, Donald.
Wrong. His dick doesn't draw the manga, Joe.
How do you know that, Donald? Maybe that's how he gets so much done every day.
Knock him up, please. We need to refocus now. For me, the most unsatisfying aspect of Wano was that Yamato didn't become a member of the crew.
Yamato was never going to join the crew. You were delusional, if you believe that.
Wrong. Ota clearly set Yamato up as a crew member.
Then why isn't Yamato on the crew right now, Joe?
It's possible that Ota has future plans for Yamato that we're not aware of yet. You idiot.
Dick Rider.
Illiterate.
For me, the biggest letdown was that Kaya didn't become a member of the crew.
Oh my God, Barack, you can't be serious.
Oda had been building Carrot up since Whole Cake Island. She was the obvious choice and would have made an S-tier lookout.
Only if the S stands for shit character.
I agree with Donald that Carrot had potential to join the crew. However, in Wano Kuni, Oda sidelined her and made it clear that she would not become a member of the crew, even more so than with Absalom.
I disagree. I think Oda could have made it work.
Spoken like a true furry.
That means nothing coming from someone who unironically loves Foxy. Your opinion means less to me than Lucia Kingdom did to Emu.
He's the best villain in the series, and you have yet to make a convincing argument otherwise. Foxy for Straw Hat.
What about the Odin flashback? Surely we can all agree that was amazing.
Oh yeah, peak fiction, one of the best written characters in all of One Piece, and it was wasted on a flashback.
One of the most memorable moments in the series for me was when they arrived at Laugh Tale, and I consider it one of the greatest moments in One Piece.
You know what would have made Wano a decent arc?
Here we go again.
Wano would be decent if the raid failed.
Baraki's doing it again.
The raid should have failed. It was the only possible way to create a sense of narrative tension at that point.
Donald, the only way the raid would have failed is if it was one of your business.
F you too, Joe.
Donald, we've been over this on our weekly One Piece podcast. What purpose would the raid failing serve?
It would add stakes to the narrative, delicious, juicy, tension-filled narrative stakes.
And taking another 2 years to publish a whole second raid.
I don't mind waiting for peak.
You just complained that Wano Kuni was too long already.
Is your senile mind completely incapable of comprehending the nuances of storytelling? It was too long in some places and too short in other places.
You're just upset that your headcanon didn't come true.
No, I'm upset because Oda fell off.
Knock him up, please. It's clear that Oda hasn't lost his touch, as Egghead Island is shaping up to be a great arc so far.
Oh yeah, peak fiction is undoubtedly one of the best written scenarios in One Piece, but unfortunately the identity of the traitor is painfully easy to predict.
The unexpected alliance between Luffy and Rob Lucci was perfect for the moment, and the mystery aspect is a refreshing addition to the series.
Good, you see no one has fallen off. Ota may have just had a bit of a stumble during the finale of Wano Kuni.
Worst arc.
You're the worst arc.
Wrong. I accomplished more in my 4 years of presidency than Ota did with his 4 years of Wano.
Are you seriously saying that Wano Kuni was worse than Syrup Village? The arc that turns the most people off the entire series?
I acknowledge that Usopp's design may not be everyone's cup of tea, and that Kuro's plan was rather foolish. Syrup Village still represents the peak of Oda's storytelling before he became bogged down in overly complex and prolonged storylines.
Donald, it takes time to tell a good story. We needed that time to properly explore the vassals.
The vassals, oh please, Kiku didn't even visit Izo's grave. Oda barely gave them any development, and their fight against Kaido was a colossal disappointment.
I really enjoyed Raizo's fight.
Oh please, that waste of time. All they did was stand there doing nothing for 30 chapters.
It was a reference to the will of Kazuki Oden, you dumbass. He stood there boiling in the pot for his vassals, and Rizo standing in the flames was his own personal trial. You clearly understand nothing about narrative and character depth.
It's a fight that grows on you in retrospect, although I agree it may seem a bit underwhelming compared to the worst generation versus the Emperors.
Oh yeah, peak fiction, one of the best fights in all of One Piece, except it's a shame they ruined it by having Luffy fight Kaido one-on-one.
That fight was the combination of everything we as fans had been waiting for during the past 10 years.
Wait, Sleepy Joe, who's your favorite member of the worst generation? Don't tell me it's Trafalgar Law.
It's obviously Trafalgar Law. He has the coolest design, the most op-devil fruit, and deserves his own spin-off series after One Piece is over.
I couldn't think of a more mid-opinion.
Well, who's your favorite member? Donald.
Eustace Captain Kidd.
You mean useless Captain Mid?
You take that back.
Oh, please, Law practically carried Kidd during the entire Big Mom fight, making it one of the most disappointing things I've seen from Kidd. But with his upcoming fight against Shanks, he may surpass that disappointment.
Kid low diff, Shanks?
You're delusional, just like all Kidd fans.
I wasn't delusional when I slept with your mother last night.
Yes, you were. My mother's dead, dumbass.
Knock 'em up, please. Let's focus. We need to rank the Wano Kuni arc. Although it's not flawless, it's an impressive work of storytelling and manga. I suggest we place it in the B tier and evaluate its value over time.